All right.
They usually scared of you. They're usually scared of black cats.
Jack's the rescue kitten with no tail.
Hi, baby.
He's getting bigger, no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
Good boy. He's a good boy. With those majestic eyes, right? He kind of his eyes go right through you in a way.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, William Spencer? All right, you ready to start?
Okay.
All right, the vicious attack cat's going nuts.
I know when it's time for him to just go. All right, you're telling me you don't want me to hold you anymore.
Yeah,
got it. No problem.
He makes
one thing about cats is they are definitely, no wonder their ancestors or whatever where they come from. The lions are kings because those with them. Once they don't want you to hold them, let them go because they can turn into a lion.
Cats are definitely different than dogs.
Yes,
complete opposite.
They're very moody. Very moody.
Yeah, one day they're rubbing your leg, and the next moment
they don't want to know anything about you.
Yeah, they're shredding your leg in half.
They're very moody.
All right, let's lock in. Let's do this.
Oh shoot! I tied my hair. Okay.
You need a hair tie?
Yes, please.
Let me go. I keep that. Keep that laying around. All right. Hello. Welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is Sunday, January the 22nd. Wow, this month has flown by. Let's begin. Let's jump right in. We'll save shout outs for during the show. I did want to mention that as of prior to the Felix Auger-Aliassime match last night, Gene Swart was the only one that was left for the $200 after Swiatek lost and Felix lost. So the $200 pot will carry over to the French Open, and we'll add something to it. So the French Open pot will be even bigger. Okay. Do you have a fantasy team leaderboard, by the way?
Not yet, because they only
halfway through the round. Yeah,
exactly. Yes.
Okay. I want to begin with the poll question for today. Can you slide this poll question in there? Is that cool?
Yep. Tell me.
All right. We know that Iga Swiatek lost last night. The only reason why I'm bringing this up first is I watched some of last night's show after the fact, and I realized that we barely even touched on the women's game at all, right? We mentioned it at first, and we never got around to it. And, I mean, we did, but not as in depth. Anyway.
Because that's what's going on in women's tennis. There's no depth.
More of a coin toss.
Yeah.
Okay. Beginning with a poll question.
Okay.
With Iga Swiatek, or with Swiatek being out, who wins the Australian Open on the women's side? A, Pliskova.
Hold on, with Swiatek being out.
With Swiatek being out, who wins? AO. Just AO.
AO.
Yeah, that's fine. Pliskova A.
Okay, we'll do this. Pliskova.
And B, put Sabalenka. For B, Mummy. Okay, I see how you're going to do it. So Sabalenka B, 3 Rybakina, or Rybakina, however you pronounce it. I think Rybakina sounds more catchy. D, Pegula. And the last option, E, other. So Pegula is next. And then Pegula and then other. And I'm curious to the answer to this. I really hope it's Pliskova, by the way, and we're going to talk about that in of itself in the not too distant future.
Or is there any other option?
Yeah, Pegula was D, and then E was other, someone else.
Oh, I couldn't ask. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. If the percentages are low, we'll know what was other. Okay. I'm pulling for Pliskova. Anyway, let's
hold on. Someone said, Van Lee said, guys, I noticed your son has a one-handed backhand. As coaches, do you think it's wise to let them develop that specific stroke, or two-hander safer?
That's debatable. That's debatable.
So Jonathan and Christopher both have one-handed backhand.
Our two oldest sons.
They're both one-handed, and I thought they hit it pretty well. I didn't really think it was much of a problem with them. I think they developed.
Chris dominated.
Yeah, I think they dominated pretty well. Then Lily had a one-handed backhand, and I felt like she just didn't understand how to hit a one-handed backhand. Like I didn't understand how to hit it. I struggled with it myself, even though I had a coach 8 hours every day drilling the same stroke. It just was not natural for me. So I decided to switch it to two-handed backhand. I felt like she was kind of slicing it a lot. So I felt like for her, I should make the change. Because in women's tennis, we just don't see as many one-handed backhand players as we do in men. I feel like men can control that shot a little bit better than the women can. And I just felt like for her, she just wasn't understanding it. And I noticed the two is starting to come along now, in our clinics. For Gabby, she started with a one-handed backhand, But I felt like she was too small and it was hard for her to get the racket around. I think you agree with me. And now we watch her play with the two and it works for her. She gets a lot of balls back. For Justin, he started with the one-handed, which is the 7-year-old now, and then went to two, but he didn't like it and went back to one. I feel like Justin understands the one-handed backhand.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like everybody has different body mechanics. There's some players that can play with the one. They understand it. They know what to do. And there's some that just don't. Just like Justin trying to play with a two-handed. He doesn't understand it.
Can't do it.
But the one works for him. So I feel like if it works for them, stick to that. So for him, I think he'll be fine because he started so young. Yes.
Yeah. Also, I just saw in comments, and I think it scrolled up. Dushan Drama Kaneen, what's up, bro? Long time no hear from. And hello right back. The one-handed dilemma or debate, it's unending at this point. Granted, when I was a child, was born in 1977, there were very few men in the world that hit with two. I think Bjorn Borg was maybe one of them, but he released his hand at impact. So it was like a two and then one. I think a lot of the issue is these days is it's easier to get there. It's easier if you're a little bit late to hit a well-struck two-handed backhand. With one, your preparation is key. If you're not there in time, we have to regress to the slice and we end up hacking the ball all over the place. Now, the fundamental issue here is the definition of laziness. With the serve, for instance, for me, in my humble opinion, the toughest shots to hit on the court are a good serve, right? Kick serve, whatever, a consistent service game, and B, the one-handed backhand. Sure, we have things like half volleys and anyway, but the one-handed, the need for practice is constant. You must stay fresh. You must get to that point of impact immediately. You must turn immediately. You must get the racket head up and handle down and your shoulders squared immediately, because if we get there and it's just got up a little bit above our shoulder or even approximating mid chest level, then we end up hacking it down and slicing it. Ask Roger Federer what Nadal and Djokovic did to him throughout his career. Footwork's another issue. It's easier to hit the two-handed backhand open. So in other words, my front foot, if you're right-handed, my right foot is behind me. I'm able to use that left hand and still get around the outside of the ball. If I hit open or closed, right? If I'm one-handed and I'm hitting significantly open, my body's not squared off. It's not turned as much to get around the ball. So that left hand is a big help with the two-handed backhand. So if our footwork isn't on point, we don't get in front of the ball, we end up slicing it. And these days the game is so fast that if you don't have great fluid footwork with the likes of Roger Federer and many others over the years, Stefan Edberg, then we find ourselves in a serious hole. And especially in doubles. Now, doubles players, one-handed doubles players are fewer and far between because of the same instance. You're playing wide angles, heavy topspin, a lot of lobs get pushed up, a lot of defensive shots. So playing doubles for me, for instance, is why I don't particularly think of myself as a really good doubles player. Playing singles, minutes 4 or 5 level, I'll battle with anybody, me willing. But the problem is in doubles, if you're playing another 4 or 5 guy and they know you're one-handed, they're going to serve out wide to the backhand side in the ad court, up the tee to the do side, and cause you to catch it a little bit late and to slice it, giving the net person an opportunity to poach. So there's a lot of debatable things one-handed versus two, but I think that our own children, and we have 5 of them, all play one-handed with the exception of Gabby now. She plays two. And Lily's starting to sprinkle that in there. But I think the 3 boys especially, I think it's more advantageous for them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Justin understands it. He's so young that he can understand it. I mean, you can't let the stroke go away. We can't completely get rid of the one-handed backhand. It wouldn't be right? I'm a two-handed player, but I understand the two hands. For me, it works. The one didn't work for me. And I made the choice for the girls because I felt like for Lily, I feel like it will hold her back. And I wish I didn't play challenges with the one-handed backhand. I really do. I feel like I would have sliced less. And slicing is great. Steffi Graf did it, but the game has changed. It's a lot more power now.
A little bit quicker.
Yes.
Racket's a little bit lighter, faster racket speed.
I feel from watching her, she definitely is a lot more consistent with the two-handed than she ever was with the one-handed. For Gabby, it's just natural. It comes around quicker. She has a lot more pop to the shot. For Justin, I would like to see him continue with the one-handed backhand because I feel like he actually generates a lot of power.
Yeah. Okay, so and we'll squash this here in a minute. Get right back to the Australian Open, but there is a debatable version of why you're saying Lily hits with two hands now instead of one, or is trying to throw it in there. Lily, this is my own daughter I'm talking about. She's a wonderful player, super strong like her mom, but she pouts a lot. So the time that she spends pouting, she could be practicing the one-handed backhand. All I'm saying is she could be a little bit better at it than what she's put into it.
Again, if you look at the tour, if you look at college, the winners are two-handers, Justin, in women's tennis. They're hitting it late. They're hitting it behind them. You can hit open stance like Venus did. I just don't see an advantage for her with the one-hander. I feel like he'll hold her back.
You know, a metaphor,
especially on returns.
A metaphor we've heard for time memorial is different strokes for different folks.
Everybody.
I think that carries weight now. If you're in vintage 80s, 90s, early 90s, vintage 80s, 70s, and before tennis, I think the heavier rackets, the solid graphite, the non-modular, the thick woodies, the small head size, you had to do more guiding the ball.
I
right?
personally
and that was okay. But
yes,
but now the speed, the racket speed, the head speed especially is so much faster.
Well, I feel like for Lily,
it's difficult.
For Lily, it just helps her with the confidence a little bit more, whereas Justin doesn't care. But going back to the one-handed backhand, I personally don't like Shapo's one-handed backhand. I feel like it's too open.
He opens up a lot.
I don't like it. Says for life. I disagree with you. That's why the guy will never win, where Tsitsipas wins more than him. I actually like Tsitsipas one.
Elaborate on that. I left my phone, so I have some scores and odds to read.
I mean, look at Chapo. He jumps at his one-handed backhand. That is terrible. We've seen two-handers jump at their at the two hands. There's no need to jump for a shot. That's just crazy to me. I feel like Tsitsipas has been more of a successful player than Chapo, and so I don't see why you guys would say his backhand is weaker.
Well, I don't think it's a night and day difference how much more successful Tsitsipas is with Shapo.
He's way more successful. He gets through in the second week. Look at Shapo's been out.
Okay, from that standpoint,
but he's won more titles.
Neither one's won a major though.
He could made a final. Has Shapo ever made a final?
No,
I feel like he has more variety. I feel like Tsitsipas can do a lot more with his backhand than Shapo can.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
and he's lefty, and he should be able to do more, but he doesn't.
Yeah. Again, there's debate. We can argue that till the sun goes down and comes up again, and we still won't be very much farther than we are currently. All right. Just for a moment, I want to mention something I saw on the Tennis Channel last night that relates to something we've talked about at length before. Last night, they were, or the commentators, I think it was Brad Gilbert, Jason Woodall, and someone else. Anyway, Brad Gilbert brought up the fact that he thought Djokovic was vulnerable, but he had a good shot to win. And we'll talk about that in a moment as well. And he made a comment, and this was just, kind of shooting from the hip between Woodall and Gilbert. Pardon me. And Brad Gilbert shot from the hip something along the lines of, or I quote, Djokovic has only lost one time since Wimbledon. Okay. Since Wimbledon, only lost one time. Woodall, the ex-British player or junior player, his career, I think, was sidelined by injury, I think. Anyway, Woodall shot in the mix. Well, no, he's lost twice. And Brad Gilbert was like, what are you talking about? Woodall quit back. Oh, he lost at the Laver Cup. Brad Gilbert looked back at him and was like, come on, man, that doesn't count. I mean, at the ATP level and not the play games level. Anyway, so the reason why I bring this up is we have talked about, in our opinion, the cheesiness of the Laver Cup since its inception, since its beginning, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to bring this. I just want to ask this question once again. Do you think the Laver Cup is cheesy? Because this is an example of Brad Gilbert indicating it is.
Obviously, we've said it's cheesy.
All right, enough about that. I just thought that we've been in this debate before on the show over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks we're wrong, but here's someone that inadvertently shot from the hip that it doesn't count, right?
Yeah. Looks like Pagula's winning so far.
Oh, her match already started?
No, Pagula. The
poll question. Yeah. 36% say Pagula, 29% Rybakina, 21% Sabalenka, and 14% Pliskova. Now, look, for a couple of years, all of you, including Carla, have laughed at me for saying that Pliskova will win that major. It's a matter of time. It's going to happen. Here, as of late, they call her, Carla especially, the mummy, the zombie. She never has a shot. And now all of you in this poll question, hence why I put it in there in the first place, only 14% of you. In other words, Pliskova is in last place with Mummy next to her name. Thank you, Carla. What do I get? If Pliskova wins this major, what do I get to make up for all the years of being chastised? What do I get?
Nothing. She's not gonna
Nothing?
win. She's not going to win.
And if she does?
She won't. I'm that confident.
She has a chance. She has a darn good chance.
She won't.
She has a darn good chance.
She can't.
Okay, she has a very good chance. All right, let's shift gears for a minute. Ostapenko. Oh, damn, girl, you got me.
I put a tennis channel or something. Some site put a post on Facebook. It was a tennis thing, and I put huge, and some people agreed and stuff. But I made a comment on this. I think what's his name, Michael Walker, was texting us about this last night, and I made just a comment. I wasn't trying to be rude or anything. But my thing was huge, not a good way to represent a professional athlete and not healthy. She can definitely get in shape. As a mother of 5, I can't understand how an athlete gets this way unless there is a sickness. Great player, but every year seems to get bigger. Not good for knees and longevity in the game. She should talk to Djokovic. This is not meant to be funny, but concerning. And I had a few that agree and a few that were like, oh, you're a hater, blah, blah, blah. One guy at the end said, athlete or not, she's obese at 25. If she continues doing whatever she's doing to get fat, she sadly won't live very long. He said it very realistically. I don't know why people have a problem with this. I'm not making fun of her. She won the French Open. She was never a muscular athlete, but she was in shape for tennis.
She was a 17-year-old
You cannot tell me that is healthy. Some idiot said that, they told her to gain weight so she can hit the ball harder. That he obviously doesn't understand tennis, because you can be a 60-pound person and whack the ball.
Yeah,
that was the dumbest comment. Somebody said that is so mean and disgusting.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. When you go to the doctor, what is the first thing they make you do?
Step on the scale.
Step on the scale. There is average, below, obese, morbidly. I mean, that's the reality, right? They take your blood pressure. Come on. Like, really? Like, how can you guys be so... Some of these people, they could be so sentimental about this. If you are a professional athlete, it is your duty to look like a professional athlete. And I'm not saying skinny, being an Instagram model. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying look like a professional athlete. Some people compare, well, what about the football players? Those guys are still muscular. They're supposed to be that way.
Some of the offensive linemen, maybe not, but again, their job is to be a wall.
Sumo wrestlers are supposed to be big, but they're still muscular. If you look at Ostapenko, she does not look healthy, and shame on Coco Gauff for not winning that match. One-dimensional game for sure. I kept screaming, why wouldn't you move this girl?
By the way, do you have a picture? Didn't you have a picture of Ostapenko? And let's talk about that take right there. Why? Did Coco Gauff not move Ostapenko around? When you are on the court.
Really? Tell me that you are okay with an athlete looking this way. Is that okay to you guys? Every year she gets bigger, and every year those dresses. I'm a mom of 5, and I don't look like that. Not even Serena. Serena, who we all complained that she was bigger. All of you guys got on her how big of a mama she was. But this lady here, people have problems with. They don't have a problem with her being big.
I understand. And look, there's things that we can assume, and assumptions are generally wrong, that there's a medical issue like diabetes that's been tossed around. But you mentioned that you're a mother of 5 and you don't look like that. However, I would not allow my children to look like that, right? Mm-hmm. Now, granted, you get to be a certain age and it's their rodeo and so forth. But my question is when you're on someone's team, you're the trainer, you're the coach, you're the traveling coach, you're the hitting partner, you're the stringer, whatever. It's hard for me to imagine if there's no medical issue, which I don't know, that the team isn't trying to help this girl with her health. And I think that's what the coach we were talking to at a different platform, he was a coach too, I'm fairly certain, and he was voicing his opinion as harsh as it might have been as a coach, like looking at her health as a little girl. And a little girl, she's 23, 24. Well, I was 25 when she was born. So
she looks like Jelena Dokic. Exactly. But Jelena Dokic struggles with depression and other things. You know what I mean? That I understand her struggle. Chris Aviation said, I saw your comment and I agree with you. I mean, I wasn't trying to be funny. I wasn't trying to be mean. If I'm the coach, first of all, my dad, when I was 16 years old, if he noticed that I was getting a little bigger, a little soft, knowing that I'm playing tennis, he would say, hey, I think you need to go run, go do a little bit of exercise. You're kind of getting soft there, jiggly. And my coach, by the way, when I lived with him, had me on a strict diet and would weigh me. I couldn't go over a certain amount because he's like, there's no excuse for you as a young lady to be overweight. You need to be in shape. You need to be leaner. I mean, look at Djokovic. There is a reason why this guy cares about his health. Extra weight is bad on your knees. It just is. Not only that, if you're not an athlete, extra weight, unfortunately, will bring you stuff like diabetes, like you mentioned. You will have heart issues. You will have cholesterol problems. I mean, why are we so offended by this? That's just facts.
So when as long as I can remember, and as long as my father, who's a lifetime tennis player too, he played at the University of California, Riverside from 55 to 59. So I was born into it the same way he was. His father played it. So since I was very young, I was always told that tennis is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay. And we have to be in it for the long haul. If your ambitions are to be the best, that means a major, men 3 out of 5, women 2 out of 3. And anyway, but now I think the mindset is, at least to a lot of coaches out there, that tennis should be a sprint and you should get the points over in 1, 2, 3, and therefore bigger might be better. Now I rest my case in one specific fact, and this is an opinion. This is a fact. And I won't talk about names or where at, but there's a couple of coaches that we are very well aware of that train people that we know very well. And they can't seem to get past like the 4 UTR. They can't crack the 4 or barely a 5 UTR and jump to the 8s and 9s. They keep getting smashed by 6 and 7 UTR people or greater. And you tell them when you see them, please add some variety to your game. Please slice the ball a little bit. Please try to open the court up. Hit the ball hard when you need to, obviously. Work the net a little bit. Add some spins in. Wear your opponent down. Put some miles on their shoes. So at minimum, you have fitness to rely on if the tough get going. But I can't tell you how many of these handful of students come to us or not come to us, but we hear through the grapevine when other people are around that coach watching them in matches say things like, I don't care what happens. You must hit the ball hard within 3 shots. And no matter what, go for it within 3 shots. And then you realize and then they never realize why it is that they can't beat someone with more variety, because they don't know how to deal with it. They can crank the ball from the baseline. They can whack a forehand. They can somewhat whack a backhand, but they don't have spins on the serve. They don't have placement. They don't have any type of idea how to work the forecourt. They can,
and that's how Coco Gauff played last night.
It's exactly how Coco Gauff
She kept beating a big player. Obviously, Ostapenko has strokes that are going through the court. She is obviously a power player. I mean, you watch her, she's like, boom. But if you had moved this opponent, she wouldn't have gone boom, because she would have to take those extra steps to set up to hit that shot that she can hit like nothing when it's on her. Mm-hmm. She didn't move her. She kept freaking returning everything hard. Change it up, girlie.
Yeah, she got lured into playing Ostapenko's biggie game, no pun intended. And Ostapenko was better at it. So Ostapenko obviously now trains where she has to get the point over with lickety split. Otherwise, she's in trouble fitness wise. But it seems to me that Coco Gauff didn't take the cliff notes and didn't look on the other side of the court and tell herself, hey, wait a minute, she's grossly overweight. Why don't I just drop shot her to death and wear her down?
Move her to the net. Okay, she might get some approach shots, but guess what? It'll add up.
Yeah, she might hit some winners. Okay.
I mean, that's what you do to big muscular people.
Yeah.
You wear them down.
It was just like no thought process whatsoever.
There was no
from her or her team. And I think the team can even bark down orders now legally from the sides, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but can't the coaches now do to Serena what Serena got in trouble for at the U.S. Open with Mortaglu? Now I think they can do that legally. Come on. No one in her corner said, hey, drop shot this girl.
Are you telling me that Ostapenko is smaller than Serena? No.
Weight-wise, probably about the same, because she was Serena has muscle.
Serena has muscle, right?
Yeah.
But here you got Ostapenko soft. There's no muscle. There's no excuse. There is just no excuse. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. Berrettini needs calf surgery. Ouch.
Wow, too bad. I think she's talked about the lack of Berrettini's calves for a couple years now, right?
Yeah,
I think you've gone into a couple rants about Berrettini. He has no calves, something like that. And now he pays the price for that.
Sorry.
Okay, so last night during the Gauff Ostapenko match, Wozniacki was one of the two commentators. And Wozniacki mentioned during the match, and nonchalantly, but definitely you could pick up on it, something along the lines of she practiced with Ostapenko before, and she vowed to never want to do that again. And this is when she was playing. The other person mentioned, I think it was Woodall, I'm not quite sure, it might have been Fowler, I don't know, reiterated the fact, yes, that she has a really bad attitude in the locker room.
She has a bad attitude. Then that's the other thing. I mean, like, the girl is mean. She's a biatch. She's nice when she wins, but when she loses, she barely looks at her opponent.
Mm-hmm.
She's a biatch, and that's the truth.
Yeah, she has some of the worst displays of sportswomanship that I think I've ever seen. And she doesn't do it in a way that you can make excuses for it the next day. Like Kyrgios, jerks off with the water bottle and, he's just a dumb kid, whatever. But Ostapenko does it in the way where she looks confrontational and she doesn't care about you or what you think or whatever, right? And then, yes, when she wins, she's like, okay.
Oh, she's so sweet.
It's no
blah,
problem.
Blah, 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 blah,
but
blah.
when she loses,
I hope Rybakina beats her. I think Rybakina will move her because I watched what she did to Swiatek. I watched her, she did not allow her to get in the point. I mean, she just didn't. She was like, boom, 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 boom. It was like and I call her Terminator because there's no emotions for her. She just does her job.
Who?
Rybakina.
Yeah, we have a segment for her.
Yeah.
She may be one of the ones to beat, if not the one to beat. Anyway, to finish off the Gauff Ostapenko match, Carla, from a coaching perspective,
it's very sad for me for Coco. I feel like we keep saying, and I think Michael Walker's like the one that's like, oh, but she's 19. And I said this for many years, and this time I decided, all right, I'm gonna root for her. But usually I always say, I feel like time is passing.
I was going to read a comment. So I haven't seen this name before, so I'm going to read it. Ibrahim Haj, much love. Ostapenko can beat Coco. Nothing impossible.
She did win. He didn't win much. He didn't watch.
So, okay. So anyway, from a coaching perspective, answer this question. If you're on Coco Gauff's team and you just watched her get lured into a slugfest that she's not, that she lost, right? What do you tell Coco Gauff? When you go back to the practice court, what do you begin to work on?
Let's not work on just hitting every ball hard. Let's work on placing the shots a little bit more. How about not coming to the net when you don't need to on the wrong shot? Stop hitting to the middle. Stop going for so many returns. Let's place the ball. Let's start the point to begin with. Let's start the point, number one. That's the first. Like, why go for returns? I get so mad when I see girls go for every return. You miss one, you go for another one. You miss another one, you go for something's got to be different.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to take Coco.
Slow down the game.
I'm going to take Coco Gauff out, and we're going to drill. And I'm also going to find her a local D1 or so college hitting partner in a way. And when I'm working a return of serve with her, if I'm serving, I'm saying we're going to work on hitting specific drop shot serve returns in order to play someone like Ostapenko again. I want to move her. I want to have variety on my return of serve, which is so often neglected, practicing the return of serve. We bring students out all the time and we pound balls at them, mix it, kick serves, whatever, so they can practice on hitting spots and becoming offensive right off the return of serve. Now, granted, you don't always get a look, but it's nice to have the tool in the toolbox if it fits the situation, right? Mm-hmm. B, I'm going to get the best hitting partner I can find for her at a local university. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell this person that every point you play with her, I want you to smash the ball within 3 or 4 shots. Period. Yeah, and work on defending against that.
Here is Coco in shape and stuff. William says that he didn't think it's a bad loss because Coco's hype. It's a bad loss. It's a bad loss.
Sheer by looking at the sizing chart.
It's a bad loss.
Yeah, just wait.
How did you not use your brains? It's a bad loss. Just like when Lisicki lost to Bartoli. It's a bad loss. That's a bad loss.
Who said that about a bad loss? Who said that?
William
Spencer. Okay, now he does have a point here. Let me explain. Don't interrupt me, but just let me explain why. It's not a bad loss on paper if it's the fitness level of 2017 that won the French Open Ostapenko and current Coco Gauff. Okay. It's a bad loss because she is grossly out of shape, and she allowed herself to get I'm not going to say demolished, but pretty much beaten off the court by someone hitting missiles at her.
Do you think
that can't move? She didn't move her.
Did you think Djokovic would have lost to someone, a tennis player overweight?
Djokovic,
do you think he would have lost to someone like that?
He would have drop shot him to death, just like he did Medvedev, and he even joked about it when Djokovic beat Medvedev, what, the U.S. Open final or something? Anyway, no, it was Wimbledon, I think. And before the match started, at this point, Medvedev was characterized not to have a great net game. In other words, he didn't play the net very well, and Djokovic knew this. So before, the commentator was like, hey, Djokovic, you're about to play Medvedev in the final. How are you going to attack Medvedev? And they said something along the lines, are you going to bring him to the net? And he was like, yeah, you better believe I'm going to bring him to the net. And he did that. So he exploited his weakness. The glaring weakness that Ostapenko has isn't that she isn't a great player. She is. But the glaring weakness is her fitness level. And when she's on the other side of the court.
It's freaking hot. Move her. It's hot.
Yes.
It's hot. You have to, like when you play at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, use the sun to your advantage.
Yeah.
When you have the wind, use the wind to your advantage. When it's cold, use the cold to your advantage. Hello. Come on.
All right. So
no, but I bet you Azarenka would have used her brains more, Moto, than, what Coco Gauff didn't use her brains at all. I think Pegula would have hit 1,000 balls just to tire her out.
Agreed. Smarter player. Now Carla just mentioned the sun. Now we're going to use the sun because that is so strange. It's like I went to a Fish show and you just jammed all the way through to the next song without stopping. Okay, so you just perfectly transitioned into the Swiatek Rybakina match, or Rybakina. Why so on the sun? Swiatek lost, as we know, to Rybakina, and Rybakina, the score wasn't lopsided, but she really did kind of have her way, hitting short balls, and Swiatek wasn't really mastering her serve location. She wasn't hitting her targets per se all the time. But the thing about the sun, Swiatek was visibly having trouble serving into the sun. She had a couple double faults in there. What happens, Carla, when we cough up a couple double faults? We lose confidence. A little negative energy creeps in. We begin to doubt ourselves. Oh, no, I just double faulted. I can't believe I did that, right? The power of the double fault isn't necessarily just losing the point. It brings an ounce of question into your mindset, right?
Sure.
Oh, no, I just double faulted. Now you come back up and you don't want to double fault again. So you're throwing in the idea of underhand and serving, kicking it out wide. Do I push it in? When we start double faulting, negative energy creeps in. Fact, right? Now, number two, every time Iga Swiatek would serve into the sun, she would have issues. Now, B, when she was on the other side of the court, did she ever once drop shot Rybakina and then pick up the lob into the sun? So the sun was beating her down on her service games. But did you see Swiatek that was struggling to serve in the sun when she was on the other side, making Rybakina hit into the sun? She would try to pass, and never once did she realize the sun is killing me. It's not killing her on her service game, but I'm going to try to make it kill her drop shot lob. Mm-hmm. I never saw that. And here are two situations in which strategy seems amiss. Swiatek not using the sun to her advantage when it is her disadvantage on her service game, A. And B, no difference than Coco Gauff not seeing the glaring fitness issue on the other side of the court, sitting there plain as day and utilize variety. I didn't see it, right?
I agree.
So, Swiatek, in my opinion, is the best player on tour right now. If Barty was still active,
she lost, still would be. But she was dominant last year. So, if she lost, you got to lose sometimes. Yeah. I feel like she'll come back better and play. You know what I mean? She just had a player that took advantage and was hitting through the shots, making her move. We noticed Swiatek was not confident, like you said. She was shaking her head a lot. The Polish crowd is cheering for her. She didn't even want to hear it. It was in her head already. She didn't believe in herself. She barely got out of the first round, so it's not shocking that she lost here.
Agreed.
She was playing near. Here's a big player, by the way, a big German woman, but she's big. Like a Viking. She's not fat. She's just big and thick.
Leif Erikson.
There's a big difference between big and thick and just out of shape.
Good point. Yeah, there's a big difference between Serena and Ostapenko.
Yeah.
Anyway, next topic really quickly. Oh, by the way, before we squash the Rybakina Gauff match, where does Rybakina go from here? Does she go to the championship or is she?
I don't know. Women's is so unpredictable. It's just so unpredictable.
If she can take the ball early like she did and be consistent, it's hard to play at that level consistently, right? The more varietal players tend to crack through that. and win a little bit more consistently. Now, granted, Rabikina won Wimbledon, so good for her. I love her. I think she's a great player.
I heard that,
but you can't play that big and hit all your spots every time.
And they also said they counted the points at Wimbledon, she wouldn't have played Swiatek. She would have played her later on, but because those points in
the seedings, yeah. That match, by the way, should have been a quarterfinal or a semi. But because of the rankings during COVID and everything else, it made it a round of 16. No, a third round. No, round of 16. Or fourth round, rather. Okay, next segment, we'll do this one quickly. Is American men's tennis back?
No.
Four of the final 16
Not yet.
are from the USA. So a third of the group are from the US. Sebastian Corda, great ball striker. Ben Shelton, what's up for him? What about Wolf? He's 24. We think he's old because he's been around for a while.
We've been talking about him for a while.
And Tommy
I
Paul.
think it's back? No, not until they start winning. We need a slam. Right?
Agreed.
Last one was Roddick. We need a slam. Do I think it's back? No. You're doing good when you're winning a slam. We never remember second place. So no.
Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. My bad. So out of the remaining group of
he said, please stop pronouncing it in the Ostapenko normal way. Say it in the Justin way.
Ostapenko. Oh, damn, girl, you got big. Ostapenko. Oh, damn, girl.
My daughter, when she saw me typing, she's like, "Is that
Ostapenko?"
I showed her the picture. She was like, "Oh, it's Ostapenko."
Oh, damn, girl.
I was like, wow.
So we've got a couple names. We've got Emma Raducanu. Who? Emma Raducanu.
But Jessica, can you believe Lily said that? I showed her the picture. She's like, "Oh, that's Ostapenko."
Got some traction.
I was like, "Wow."
Yeah, there's a couple things there's a couple things over the years of doing videos that have come back around to us. One of them is we made that up here. All of us did Ostapenko, and it's come back around. Like other people are saying it, and like I anyway. The second thing is a drill. We came up 15-3-1. So Carla and I literally one day getting out of the shower, we were like, let's do a drill where you have to get to 15 points, but you can't lose 3 in a row, and you can only have one double fault, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and we taught a bunch of people that drill, right? And we whipped it up in the shower, literally. And then lo and behold, it came back around to us like 2 years later. Hey, have you guys ever heard of 15-3-1? I was like, we created that one.
Oh my God, Ostapenko.
Oh, damn, girl.
You know, maybe one of you guys can go to a slam, and when you see her, you can say that.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game real quick with that. Okay, do you know there's game shows that are like finish that sentence or something, right? Or those Mad Libs you had when you were kids, like it gave you a bunch of things and it gave you like empty spaces for a verb and adverb. Mm-hmm. Let's finish this sentence. I'll let you go first, and then I'll try. Ostapenko, followed by what? Ostapenko, folled by what? You want me to try to start?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Ostapenko, oh, damn, girl, you got large. Got to chill with that girl. Whoa, that type of thing.
The sad part is when she retires, right? We've noticed, okay, someone made a good example on this Facebook comment. They said Davenport got in shape. Remember, she was bigger. She dealt with weight problems.
Yeah, great
Monica
player.
Seles, it happened to her. It happened to Jennifer Capriati. They made her cry. Mm-hmm. People were like, man, and she wasn't even as big as Ostapenko.
Yeah.
But they made her cry, and she got in shape. You know, I mean, do you remember that?
And well, the thing with it, the thing that's
so in the 90s, it was okay to tell women that, and they did what they had to do. But now it's like, oh my God.
Okay, now there was one thing you're missing here cosmetically that made Seles look bigger when she came back, and she went through that.
She got stabbed.
No, she got her hair cut.
But she got stabbed too.
So she came back heavier, and she had her hair cut.
She got stabbed,
short.
Justin.
And if you company really short hair with
but hers, she got stabbed. She was depressed. She was going through a problem. We don't know but I feel like Ostapenko, every time I see her, and she's mean on top of that. She's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
If Monica Seles did not get stabbed in Germany,
she would have definitely won.
Would she be the GOAT?
Who knows?
Could she have been the GOAT?
I believe she could have won a lot of more slams. And Steffi Graf will have a lot lesser.
And what was one of the most unique things about Monica Seles? 2 hands on both sides of the racket. Two-handed forehand, two-handed backhand.
Monica Seles looks great. But you have Townsend, another one that got in better shape. She's a mom. What's Ostapenko's excuse?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, you got a lot of girls that get bigger, but they get back in shape.
Someone said it best in comments a while ago. It's long since gone, but they said bigger these days equals better, and they were surely being facetious. But anyway, there's an issue going on with that team, and they need to figure that out.
I think they're probably too scared to tell her anything.
Okay, so back to, is American men's tennis back? Out of that group, who are your eyes on? Is it Korda?
I like Shelton. I hope Korda does well.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still not on boat. I don't think that American tennis is back until we start winning some things.
I think that Wolf and Paul are as good as done in terms of, making a run. Both of them, I think, will probably lose their next match, or do they play one another? I can't remember. Korda is such a good ball striker. He hits the ball extremely well. He gets to the ball on time. He meets it out front, and he comes up with consistently gnarly angles. He's a really,
he looks like daddy.
Yeah, and isn't Radek Stepanek his coach, or one of his coaches, Radek Stepanek? And Radek, we know is I'm not going to say a maestro, but a veteran player that knows the ins and outs of the tour for having been on it until, well, how old was Radek Stefanek when he retired into coaching? Was he 40?
Late 30s. And also his wife was a promising tennis player, but got married to him. They got divorced, got back, whatever. They broke up. So I'm looking at the matches here. Pegula Azarenka, tough match. Rybakina and Ostapenko.
I got a whole segment for that.
So far.
Okay, so here's a fun quote that Sebastian Korda stated to the media after his match. Sebastian Korda comes from a family of athletes. We know his dad Peter won the Australian Open, and I think it's PETR, but I think it's Peter still. Anyway, but he has sisters that are fine golf players, if not some of the best in the world. So this was a quote from Korda after his match when he was asked about his thoughts on his win. Quote, "I love playing in Australia, as does my family. My dad won the Australian Open 25 years ago." Wow, seems like just yesterday. Mm-hmm. My dad and I watched it together, surely. Mm-hmm. My dad won the Australian Open 25 years ago, and my sister won the Australian Open in women's golf. I don't know what I'm going to be ranked after this victory, but my mom's career high was number 26. My dad was number 2. My sister Nellie was number 1 in golf, and my sister Jessica was number 6. So I'm definitely the worst athlete in my family currently, or so far. Mm-hmm. So he's got big shoes to fill. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on him overcoming his dad by winning a Australian Open but younger?
It's gonna be tough.
Carla has a theory, and this is going to come into play today or tonight, whatever. Carla has a theory that anytime we're in the best of 5 sets at a major, or a female going deep into the third, 7-6 in a third, 3-hour match, whatever, that the player usually comes back and does not very well. Not saying they necessarily lose, but maybe stretch to another 5-set or more than likely lose. Do you think Korda loses his next match because of your theory?
He plays Khachanov. He's got a chance.
It's a winnable match.
It's a winnable match. He's got a chance.
It's a winnable match.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask you an honest question. Answer this honest question. Okay. In my opinion, tennis has no flag. Just because you fly a certain flag or you're from somewhere doesn't mean that I like you a lot. I used to hope Stefan Edberg would beat any American that he played because I like Stefan Edberg so much. I don't care what flag they're flying. They're a tennis player.
I don't care.
We know tennis is an international language that brings people together. I don't care what.
I never follow players because of their flag. Just saying.
We follow their game. Mm-hmm. Karen Khachanov, by the way, you were a big fan of when he first came around.
Yeah.
And you realize sometimes I think we forget that you and I have been talking tennis and breaking it down since day one, many, many, many years ago. And here we are. But you mentioned Khachanov to me early on. You were like, I like this guy's game. His forehand's a little robotic, but he's got the package. And you also nicknamed him Thor.
And then it came out.
So Thor, your boy, plays Korda in his next match. What do you think is going to happen in that match? Who do you want to see win, and why do you think that person will win? I
think Korda will win. Has more variety in his game. I think the big guy. He's a big guy. Needs to move him around a lot more. Mm-hmm. I would attack the forehand eventually with that full Western grip. The way he hits it, it'll miss.
Gets a little tight in here.
Yeah, and the way the racket's angle. Yeah,
I'm saying that's a match to watch.
I'm laughing at Stefanek. Yeah, I know he's been with a lot of girls. He's still married to Vidasova. Someone mentioned that he's like Stefanek smash Kvitova. Well, I whatever. They were in a relationship at that time. Stefanek has to be the ugliest dude I've ever seen in tennis.
I like Stefanek
with messed up ass teeth. Ugly. Like I don't know what girls saw in him. I just can't. I don't understand.
Dollar bills, y'all.
And so William Spencer says Stepanek must have a huge personality.
He might. He might.
The guy is so ugly.
He might.
I mean, like, come on now.
He might have the overall package.
I don't know.
Okay, look. So let me ask you a question though. You mentioned Stefanek's kind of a weird looking dude.
Sir John said, Vaitasova is so hot, she can do better. I offer myself.
True that. Yeah.
He's on lips. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's ugly.
So okay,
so
you know the odd thing is you guys mentioned that Stefanek's kind of a weird looking dude. You know he played with a weird racket. It was like octagonal shaped. It had a bunch of ridges. It was like some type of cubic racket. Have you ever seen this?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Stefanek's racket?
Yeah, I'm just looking at him like I don't understand. This dude's ugly. Like,
all right. So before I throw this page out, the last thing I had written on this page.
You're right. He's like old lips. I mean, the guy's like old.
The last thing I had written on this list, on this page before I go to another one, and we got many more pages to go, is what do I get if Pliskova wins this major? I already said that once, but you guys have yelled at me and Carla especially for years.
Look at that.
And she's going to win this major.
What's wrong with these ladies? I mean, come on now. Justin.
I'm trying to find a picture of this racket. Oh, he's gonzo.
Oh, man. Oh, my
All right, here we go. Here's Stefanek's racket. Okay, see, it's got this octagonal shape. It's got ridges. It's like, you remember that?
I mean, like, there's the teeth.
Remember when he played with that?
There's the teeth.
Get
It's
a better
like,
picture.
really?
Yeah, here you go. See the edges?
Oh, my God.
It's like rigid, you know? All right. Anyway, let's move on to Jessica Pegula. Jessica Pegula, by the way, much love to her because her Buffalo Bills are probably already starting right now. And I personally am a freaking huge NFL fan. Huge. Let's go 49ers. Her Giants lost last night. So be it. They didn't just lose. They got pounded. Let's go Jalen Hurts, Bama boy. Let's go. Anyway, but good luck for Pegula and her father who owns the Buffalo Bills. And hopefully they beat Cincinnati tonight. And it's snowing at the game in Buffalo. And good job for DeMar Hamlin to be back on the sidelines that basically died on the field, literally did, and had to be resuscitated. Mm-hmm. So let's go Bills. Can anyone name, if someone can name this in comments, and I know this is tennis channel and I brought up American football. If someone, the first person to name this in comments, I'll send you 2 sets of Y-Tech strings if you answer the question. Okay. What was the name of the field goal kicker that lost multiple Super Bowls in a row because he couldn't make the damn field goal? What's his name? That's why I want Buffalo to win this game. And maybe even the Super Bowl as long as it's not against my 49ers.
I remember that.
Do you remember the field goal kicker's name? Mm-hmm. I do.
Poor guy.
What? He had death threats for years. Understandably. Okay, Pegula, the score looks like that she kind of, had a tight first set. She dominated the second set. But it was a lot closer than, the score looked. Have you ever lost to a player or beat a player like 1-1 or 2-2?
Yeah, but
it was really close.
Yes.
Like every game with the deuce, it was at and
Ray
out.
Finkel?
No.
There's players that
it was Steve Norwood.
Okay, well, there's players that I played, the score is very lopsided, but
it's closer. Right?
Yeah.
You every game goes to 27 deuces, and then you end up losing 0-0. It happens, and that's kind of how. For me, it was a lot closer than, especially in the second set, the score. I do want to say one thing about Pegula. She looks like she's in incredible shape. She seems very, very fit, and someone with the billions of dollars in assets in her own family. Most people don't tend to work that hard, right? If you're an American spoiled brat and your dad's a billionaire, how many billionaires' children do you see that are at the very top of their respective game, right? It's usually handed to them. They don't have a work ethic, but she is working very hard. Right? Mm-hmm. Do I think she's going to win the Australian Open? No, I do not.
I don't think so either.
For me, I think Rybakina's in there. Do not forget about the 17-year-old Fruhvirtova. She's a beast too, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Pegula's next match. Who does she play? Azarenka. Your thoughts on that match?
Tough match. Azarenka, they're showing her walk through that. She was looking for her name twice. She's won the Australian Open.
Did they put it in there?
Yeah, they have to, all the champions.
Oh, well, I'm surprised because
she was looking for it and she finally found it at the end.
Some people won't shake her hand because she's from Belarus. You know, that bullcrap, you know, with the whole war thing and not going there. I'm just saying it's unfortunate that some players won't talk to Azarenka or Medvedev or Rublev because of what their country's doing.
I think it will be a tough match for Pegula. Yeah, I think anything can happen. 3 sets.
Let me ask you a question. Another question, Carla.
The old Azarenka would have definitely beat her.
Okay, objective question. I was just fixing. We're same brainwave. I swear that's why we worked out in the first place.
That's what we worked
It's not because we had a child. That it was because of the tennis.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, so Azarenka, many years ago, right? When she first jumped on the scene, okay, she was a little bit thicker. She was a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm
not going to say squatty, but she was thicker. Put it that way, right? Now you have a more lean Azarenka. Who was better, the thick Azarenka or the lean Azarenka?
Thicker, but she wasn't big. She was just more muscular.
Now, is Helena Ostapenko trying to be thick like Azarenka was? No, because Azarenka was a thick, strong like Carla, and not a thick Pillsbury doughboy like Ostapenko. Right? She wasn't the Michelin Man. She was like strong, right? I'm still curious of how Azarenka lost the weight and still stay trim doing it. A lot of people that are like squatty, muscular, like Azarenka was, that, you know, they get out of their sport, they take time off and they come back lumpy, right? But she was able to stay relatively fit after having had a child and going through divorce proceedings and
no, she didn't get divorced
or whatever, custody battles or whatever it was. Anyway, I think that Pegula does beat Azarenka.
Well, she'll be 19 soon, Michael Walker.
Who?
And then you'll say didn't win her first major to 20, 21. Something has to change her. She has to figure something out, Michael. She has to, because there'll be people that'll win slams before her. When we all know she should have won already.
Pliskova.
I mean, time passes by. I mean, I remember when we talked about JJ Wolf. I didn't know he was 24, 25.
Time flies.
I mean, that's crazy. I remember when we used to say, "Oh, Dimitrov will have another year. Oh, he'll win soon. Oh, he'll win soon." Never won.
Doesn't JJ Wolf have a porn stash like that one player? Who was that? Who was the Australian player that had the porn stash? Was it Jordan Thompson?
Yes,
he had the porn stash. You know, like, so does Wolf.
We all say, "Oh, they'll win another," and then time passes. Time passes. So something's got to be figured out before that time passes. Yeah, Kenan too. I mean, time passes before you realize these players are 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. And then you realize, oh, shit.
I remember when the next gen cheesy crap came out.
I mean, look at Shapovalov.
Do they still have the next gen?
We were talking about Shapovalov when, oh, my God, you know, like he's going to win a slam. Here he is getting older. I mean, here it is, Felix. Ashe Elysium, you're getting older as well. Here's Tsitsipas.
Yep.
Time is passing and the next players are coming.
Yep.
The next players will come. What about Fruhvirtova wins a slam before Coco Gauff? What are we going to say, Michael Walker?
It's a good question.
What are we going to say?
Hey, by the way, last night when the Ostapenko match started against Gauff.
Yeah, but this is not the 90s. This is not the 80s. We're not in the 80s.
Let me get a thought out for you.
Sorry.
With comments. Sorry. So last night before, right as the Ostapenko match began with Coco Gauff, I mean, within like 2 points, I was sitting there. I was just getting comfortable and my phone lit up. And my phone lit up, but at the same point my phone lit up, I was telling myself, damn, Ostapenko, oh, damn, girl, you got big. And my phone blew up, and it when I blew up, I had a message, and it was Mike Walker. What's up? We were on the same brainwave at the same point in time. I mean, right when you texted me, I mean, at the exact moment, I was hitting pause on my remote so I could run downstairs and tell Carla to come upstairs and look how damn big Ostapenko. Oh, damn, girl, you got big, Ostapenko. And he texted me. So we were on the same brainwave. So I just wanted to mention that. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I lost my train of thought there.
Well, Michael Walker says Lendl didn't win his first major until 24. I guess he's 22. Nothing before his time. But those were the 90s. Those were the 90s. And right now, women's tennis is unpredictable. Mm-hmm. I feel like they have to win that one major. Graf 17. Yeah, everything's different. What I'm saying is if Coco Gauff doesn't start adding variety, then it's just going to be the same result. And then she's going to get frustrated. And then she's going to lose more confidence. She's going to ask herself, what do I need to do?
I think she has the variety, but she just didn't use it.
I don't know. I hope she wins. I like her.
Me too.
I mean, I like her. I want her to win. I feel like she should have won a slam already, but geez, I mean.
Yeah, got to add variety. By the way, before we lose track of Kachanov for a moment, do you understand that Kachanov dealt Nishioka? I get it that Nishioka's not the best player in the world, but he made it into the third round or the fourth round, and furthermore, he's a fighter. He retrieves everything. But Kachanov dealt Nishioka a double bagel. It was 6-0 first set, 6-0 second set, 7-6 in a third. Sounds like Nishioka started slow or something. But anyway, at this level, to get into this round and then to double bagel someone, I don't know. I mean, was Nishioka, I didn't watch the match, saw highlights, but was Nishioka playing that bad in the first two sets, or was Kachanov playing that good? Double bagel this round in any major, watch out. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's skip forward to Djokovic and De Minaur for a moment. Okay. I can guarantee you that all of Australia is on their hands and feet hoping that De Minaur wins this match.
Against who?
Novak Djokovic. Okay.
Not happening.
Now,
not happening.
Carla, you indicated that Dimitrov would get blown out of the water by Djokovic. She beat him in straight. No, was it 4 sets?
Straight sets.
Okay, straight. But I think it was like 6-4, 6-3, 7-5.
Whatever. It don't matter.
We
still lost.
Okay. So do you think Djokovic will beat De Minaur worse than Dimitrov? Do you think Djokovic beats De Minaur worse than Dimitrov, or does he get all the battle he's welcoming?
4 sets, I say.
4 sets?
Yeah.
What happens if De Minaur wins? Does Australia go crazy?
Yeah, of course I do.
Okay. Let's do something fun for this one. I'm looking forward to this match a lot. Obviously, I want Djokovic to win that for a lot of reasons, but namely the way he was treated at the Australian Open, and namely because of that stupid throat hack, the ball lady that couldn't duck that shit at the U.S. Open a couple years ago. So I hope he gets what's due to him. Anyway, enough about my opinion. But let's do a guessing game. Okay. I will send $20 US. Okay. So you will write it down, whatever. Here you go. You take a pen. Let me give you a sheet of paper because you have to write it down.
Just put it, leave it on your notebook. Why would you rip it?
Well, I got notes to follow.
Yeah, but you're not going to rip it. Just leave it on there so we see it.
Okay. Well, do it somewhere.
I'm going to throw it out.
All right. Well, anyway, it'll be in comments. We can go back and look.
Mm-hmm.
Duh. Okay. What is the final score of that match going to be? The closest person to that score, I'm going to send $20 to. Now, granted, PayPal, Venmo, money order, something secure.
I'll say. Okay,
what's the final score of the match and who wins?
Djokovic wins. And I'll say 4-6, 6-3, 6-4, 6-2.
Okay. Now, can I throw my score in there?
Okay.
All right. I got Djokovic, obviously.
Okay.
I'm going to go 7-5.
Okay.
Djokovic.
Yeah, I'll put that at the end.
7-5, 6-3, 6-3. Djokovic wins straight sets. Okay. Anybody else want to jump in? Great. We'll pay it out. We always do. You know that. Okay. Djokovic, by the way, again, to me, people were saying that he's vulnerable. Not for me. For me, for this tournament, he's unstoppable. So I'm on totally opposite sides of the spectrum of everyone else. Now, granted, I've made some wrong decisions in terms of placing picks. I'm an expert at that as well. But for me, right now, in my own mindset, Nole, Joker Nole, Beast, Goat, getting down.
3-1. Ouch.
It's possible. I was thinking about that too. That's a good score. Zest for Life says 6-0, 6-3, 6-1.
7-6, 6-7, 6-4, 1-6, 7-6, 15-13. Not happening.
Ooh, Mike Walker's got a dicey one. William Spencer's got Novak in 4 sets and goes on wins to the Australian Open.
With so much tape, he looks like a mummy.
I agree with you. Is anyone going to watch the NFL games today? What are your Super Bowl predictions, by the way?
My Giants got trounced, man.
San Francisco, Kansas City.
Sad.
San Francisco, Buffalo.
So I turned on the women's tennis because of that.
Okay, just for a moment, I want to venture into something non-tennis related, but is very much tennis related, just for a moment, okay? I don't want to dwell on it too much, though, but I want to know everybody's objective thoughts on the sport of pickleball. Your objective thoughts on the sport of pickleball. Now,
I got hated on by ex-friend because
whatever.
I said it.
Not worried about all that. That person was too flattered about thinking about himself, and we're thinking about it in general.
Okay. I can tell you, Justin and I never played pickleball, right? It was a few years ago. There was a group that invited us to play. They played every weekend. They were very good at it. They traveled and played. And they taught us the game like in a couple minutes, the rules and stuff. And we killed them.
And we beat them the same day.
And there is no skill to that. The reason people play pickleball is
they
because
can't
you don't
play
have
tennis
to move.
anymore. Yeah.
There's no really skill. You don't really teach a skill. I mean, we were trying to hit every shot, tops and slice, whatever. You're not really getting much of a workout. It's more of a hobby.
Okay.
And it's closing down tennis clubs. And that is my major
That's why
problem.
I bring it up.
I don't care that people play it, but the fact that it's closing tennis courts, that is a problem for me. And on top of that, you're playing tennis and you're hearing the ching, ching, ching.
Okay,
ching.
look,
That's a problem for me.
Let's be objective about it. Now, there's enough morbidly obese people in the world these days where you have to welcome any type of recreation. Great job. The reason why I bring this up is every time I speak to fellow coaches, whether here, whether in Virginia Beach, whether in California, whether in Vermont, other places that we've taught, time and time again, there are coaches that don't have as many courts or their facilities are closing entirely because of pickleball courts. The neighbors of those facilities are complaining because they can't sleep because of the balls. Long story short, my thought process is here, as well as many others in the tennis world, is if it's so popular and people are so passionate about it, why wouldn't you build your own places instead of lobbying the local community to shut down the tennis places? Anyway, John McEnroe said it perfectly the other night. Okay, now you want to call us out on it? Whatever. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt for it. John McEnroe the other night, someone asked him about pickleball. And he said his response was, and he said it, and he didn't say it sarcastically, he said it objectively. He was like, yeah, pickleball is for people that can't play tennis. And for the pro players is for people that couldn't make it on the tennis tour or ping pong he threw in.
Factual.
So it's not that we're dissing on recreation. We're all for it. But it's a matter of fact that we are losing a sport, at least facilities thereof, and putting it in place where it doesn't take as much work to get good at it. Right. And Carla said it perfectly. We were here at Dolphin Island. We had someone that came through and visited, and they had played and did it like challenging wise at high level, like internationally, I think Mexico or something.
That was a joke.
Showed us how to play the game. The biggest problem we had was this kitchen thing. You couldn't step in the damn kitchen. But once we finally figured out we couldn't be right on the net, we demolished them real quickly. And they were even a doubles team and in singles. So we played someone that was competitively playing. We never had played it before. And within 5 or 10 minutes, we beat them both in singles and doubles.
Yeah.
Anyway, it didn't take that much skill to figure it out. But the thing is that the amount of tennis courts, and Ryan Mason's out there. Ryan Mason just witnessed a facility in Mississippi that is giving up courts or is no longer even tennis friendly, and it's just this point wiffle ball getting.
We saw. I think it was Brian Gumbel. He had it was Mary Carrillo who did. They were closing down a tennis place because the pickleball. At first, the pickleball asked, "Hey, can you put a couple courts?" And then they wanted more and courts. Then they wanted more.
Yeah.
And so they lost a lot of tennis memberships, and now it's almost all pickleball.
Yeah. And then all the surrounding neighbors are wanting to move out of where they live.
You can't tell me that you're getting a cardiovascular workout with pickleball. Just saying.
Anyway,
I could see racquetball, but not that.
Anyway, everyone should be able to play recreation, do whatever, but it's a separate thing entirely. Don't take tennis courts. Create your own place for the loud noise that you play. Exactly. All right. Anyway, next is going to be Stefanos Tsitsipas, who is about to face Jiří Lešečka. Okay. Now he is from Lešečka. That's how you pronounce his name. He is born in a place where being tennis professionals is in the water. Okay. Czech Republic, right? Mm-hmm. The size of the Czech Republic in relation to how many players that end up pros in tennis it's uncanny, right? Per capita, holy shit. Okay, let me tell you a couple facts about Lešečka. We mentioned him yesterday, but I wrote down a few more nuggets. He beat Felix Auger-Aliassime in 4 sets and personally made sure Gene Swart didn't win the $200. He was born in 2001 in the Czech Republic. He had a career high ranking of number 71, or excuse me, his career high ranking right now is 71 climbing. He had an ITF, International Tennis Federation, junior ranking of number 10 in the world in 2019. Now, if you look at all the players on tour now that are roughly his age, he had a pretty tough field. Now, we know that junior tennis is not really a big eye-opener of how you perform as a professional, right? Serena Williams didn't even play juniors, right? Anyway, another story for another day of why parents wrap so much into, what they do when they're 10. It's more like, what are you going to do when you're starting to get on that threshold to, sophomore, junior, senior high school to go to college or anyway, whatever. Another discussion for another day. He is the number 1 Czech player currently, singles player, for the country on a national level. He's 6'1", and 6'1" historically is a pretty darn good ideal tennis height, right? Basketball 6'7", 6'9", 7 foot, you're good to go. In tennis, that 6'1" is pretty spot on. Djokovic is 6'1", I think, maybe 6'2". Nadal 6'1", Federer 6'1". I think Sampras was 6'1". I'm 6'1". I'm just throwing that out, but I'm 6'1". Anyway, something about that height is like the perfect. It's not too tall for knee issues. It's not too short for serve issues. It's not too short to reach at the net. 6'1" is like that perfect height, and he fits that. He's right-handed. He turned pro in 2020, and on the tour level, he's 19 wins to 23 losses. He has never gone past the first round in any of the majors except for now, where he is now in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. His father was an Olympic swimmer, and his mother was a track and field star, and his grandmother taught his older sister how to play. Therefore, what happens when the little kids watch the older ones play? They want to do better than them, which is why I bring up Justin Jr. in there, right? Mm-hmm. Little Justin, my youngest son, Justin Jr., 5, will be the best player by far because he's watched 4 other older brothers and sisters go through their trials and tribulations, and he wants to outdo them. Anyway, back to the match. What type of chances does Leheshka have against Stefanos Tsitsipas? I'm taking the dog. I'm taking the underdog here. I'm rooting for him. Let's go. Sissy boy, whiner, gripe at dad, smack him with a tennis racket. Cry like a crybaby. Sissy boy, sissy pass, sissy pants.
It seems like he's been behaving better, though.
Whatever. I'm still going with Jiri.
I'm going with Tsitsipas.
Let's go, Jiri. Let's go. What time's that match start anyway? I'm taking the dog. By the way, let me talk about the odds on that match.
Nadal? Is Nadal playing?
Nadal.
That's what you just said?
I said I'm taking the dog.
Oh,
the underdog. In a betting world, I'm taking the dog, the underdog.
I'm cool with whoever wins, but I picked Tsitsipas to win the Australian Open.
Okay, let me tell you the betting odds for Leheshka. Heshka, correct me in comments if I'm wrong. Before the tournament started, Leheshka, his odds for winning the tournament were plus 15,000. So correct me if I'm wrong, Mike Walker. And I got screwed in this because I thought my bet would have been bigger when I bet him last time. But correct me if I'm wrong. That means if Leheshka, or if you bet $100 before the tournament started on Leheshka, that you win 15 grand. Is that how? Am I right, or is it 1,000 to? Anyway, if you bet a little on Leheshka before the tournament started, he won the tournament. You'd be like, "What's up? I'm taking you out to dinner. You out to dinner. You out to dinner. I'm gonna rent a limo. All that stuff." Okay. Ben Shelton, by the way, which we're going to talk about again in a moment, Ben Shelton had the same odds as Leheshka did before the tournament started at plus 15,000. Between the two of them, who would you give a better shot at winning the tournament, Shelton or Leheshka?
Who's Shelton playing?
What?
Who's Shelton playing?
What?
You said who would I give the better odds to, Leheshka or Shelton?
Yeah.
Who is Shelton playing next?
Oh, I got it written here.
That it all depends on that.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, well then let me see.
See, that's why you should write with me instead of just me all the time.
Oh, you mean the one that cooked a huge ass meal, cleaned the house, doing taxes? You wouldn't even make the juice that you drank out of an empty.
No, it was already empty. It was on the counter.
Okay.
It was already on the counter. So someone else drank it. Left it empty.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, get your facts straight, bro.
I think Shelton because he's playing JJ Wolf.
Okay, fair enough. But look, I'm giving Leheshka. I'm giving him a good shot to beat Tsitsipas. He's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, Jay's in trouble. Thank you.
Yeah,
like he said, "Oh, could you rate with me? Let me see." I mean, come on now. Do I need to go on?
No, I agree with you, but I'm just saying that Leheshka
we can
here.
Switch. I could write, and you would do the taxes.
Oh, I forgot about that. I already squashed that. But it's true though. I didn't drink it. It was already sitting there. I went to go get the juice thing, and I picked it up. It was empty, and there was a couple drops left, so I kind of dropped it in my mouth, and I put it back down. And you were like, "We'll make the juice," and I'm like, "Well, who put it here in the first place?" Empty?
I don't know. I don't drink juice.
Like, why I gotta make the juice? Like I didn't empty it. I never drink the juice in the first place. Why I gotta make it?
Anyways, whatever.
Okay, let me.
He's changing the subject.
Damn. Okay. So
JJ is thick.
A couple more odds before this tournament started as of to win the tournament. Djokovic to win the tournament before it started was only plus 110. In other words, it's like bet 100 to win 100, maybe 10 extra. Okay. Tsitsipas was next at plus 650. Okay. So bet 100, win 650, something like that. Korda, who's still in it, didn't have that bad of odds at all. He's plus 900, right? Pretty good money there. Rublev, who's still in it, was plus 1,500. Okay, now let's flip to the women's side for a moment. Iga Swiatek was plus 175. So, the heavy favorite, but, you still would have won a little bit much on the gamble. Arina, the Screech Freight Train Sabalenka, sounds like her legs getting sawed off when she hits every ball hard, was plus 550. Pagula comes in at 800, plus 800. Rybakina, plus 2,200. Pliskova, let's go, the girl that will win this major. You can go home. You don't have to watch the match. You can just chill out, eat some watermelon, whatever. Just chill out. You don't even have to watch the match. Pliskova is going to lift the trophy. Was plus 3,500.
Or you can follow Ostapenko's diet. Might help you.
Victoria, the freight train with brakes on, with sparks flying out of her mouth when she hits the ball. Scream! Sounds like a pig with a rod stuck in his ass when she hits the ball. Worse than Sharapova, worse than Schiavone, abhorrent. Was plus 4,000. Now, Fruhvirtova is where I would have gone with the action, right?
Yeah, me too.
She was plus 10,000 to start the tournament. We talked about before this tournament started, we picked her on our fantasy, or I did, that she had a chance to win this tournament.
I didn't really think about her.
Okay. Now, Tsitsipas tonight is minus 660 against Lehechka. In other words, he is an overwhelming favorite. In other words, to win $100 on Tsitsipas, you would have to bet $660 just to get your $660 back and add $100 to your pocket. Lehechka is plus 450. Tell me you don't want some of that 450.
I don't bet.
I want some of that 450. Win or lose, I want some of that 450. Now, Holger Runa, as I heard last night, another one of these last name things, Muguruza for years, Muguruza now, Holger Rune for years now Runa, and it always seems to be Chris Fowler that pulls this shit out his ass.
Man, we're talking a lot about ass here.
Man, tell you what, every time I watch Fowler commentate, he's got a different way to make sure we know how to say the same last name correctly that he said incorrectly for the past 5 years. Anyway, Holger Rune, it's freaking true.
Oh, my God.
Freaking, hey, Holger Rune's doing really great. Watched him for 2 years, doing great. Last night, we flip on the TV, and it's on ESPN2. He's like, Holger Rune? What did you just say? You need to
No, he pronounced it wrong. Fowler did years ago, and then changed it. Probably that was the right pronouncing, but someone told me.
More like they just guess the name like we all do until they become mainstream, and then when they finally interview them, they pronounce the name how it really is, and then they make
Oh my
God. A
God.
couple more odds.
It's not Fowler, it's Fräulein.
Oh yes, it's Fräulein Maria. Yeah, Fräulein Maria.
I'm shocked Djokovic is still Djokovic.
Yeah, it should be Djokovic. What the fuck, man? Muguruza said it for years, talking about now it's Muguruza. And then when you hear Chris Evert do this stuff, and God bless her, she's dealing with cancer. And
she looks good with her hair. By the way, I heard her hair.
But look, Chris Evert for years would say Muguruza. And then all of a sudden, Chris Evert comes out Muguruza, like she said it all along. I'm like, shut up.
You know what it is? Commentators like Wozniacki, because they have that European, their background is European. They know how to pronounce the names, but the American ones were dummy.
But
we don't know how to pronounce it.
But you're Spanish, and you used to pronounce it Muguruza. So
no, I get it. Spaniards do say it. But what I'm saying is that I think the American commentators don't know the pronouncing, whereas the European commentators, they do. If you hear Wozniacki, she always says it really well. Okay, question for you here. Back to the betting odds just for a moment. Holger Rune is favored by a slim margin over Andre Rublev, minus 125, so a slight favorite. I got to bet 125 to win 100 on Rune. Do you agree with me that I think Rublev should be the favorite here, or do you really think Rune should be the favorite? Runa. I think they're pretty tied.
I don't know. I would say it was a push. It should just be plus one or whatever. I don't think there should be any. Maybe it's just a way to get some action more on the other side of the bet. I would take Rublev there, and I would probably go big on that.
I hate Spanish S between the teeth. Now, I feel like, the Spaniards, their accent is tough for me.
And that comes from Duchamp. Great to hear from him again. Okay, Wolf, by the way, the guy with the porn stash, he is actually a slight favorite over Ben Shelton at minus 120. Close Shelton, close.
No, interesting.
I would probably take Shelton there because, again, he has nothing to lose. Now, by the way, I did hear on the tennis channel that The first time Ben Shelton has ever been out of the United States is for this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first time he travels abroad, bam, in the quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Novak Djokovic is minus 500 over Alex de Minaur.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lastly, on the men's side, Sebastian Korda is minus 140 over Kachanov, slight favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Women's side, Sabalenka is minus 156 over Bencic. Garcia is minus 295 after Lynette over Lynette. I'd watch out for that one. Lynette has a real good shot there. Vekic is minus 225 over Fruhvirtova. I'm going plus. I'm taking the points, and I'm going with Fruhvirtova. I think Vekic loses in straight sets to Fruhvirtova. So that's some action right there. Pliskova is minus 195 against.
I thought it was Pliskova, but okay.
Pliskova. I got to correct my math on that one. She's minus 195 against Zhang. Rybakina. There's another one of these last name things. 196 over Ostapenko. Oh, damn, girl. Damn, Ostapenko. Oh, damn. Okay, Rybakina is minus 196 over Ostapenko, and Pegula is minus 235 on Azarenka. Now, at all those bets, give me the one male bet and the one female bet that you would take. I'll go ahead and tell you what I would take. Okay. I'm going to take the points, and I'm going to really hope that Lehechka earns me 400 on the 100 that I risk. I'm going to take Lehechka to beat Tsitsipas, and I'll probably lose the 100, but it's worth trying to win for. And then I'm going to take Fruhvirtova at plus 225 to beat Vekic. Fruhvirtova, upset alert, and Lehechka, upset alert. Tsitsipas will probably win, but I'm pretty confident Fruhvirtova will win outright. Okay? And that's all I got on my paper, Carla.
All righty.
How's it? Show tomorrow?
No.
Oh, you can say comments.
Tomorrow's Monday. I work till like.
You mean we?
But I teach the last lessons. No.
Okay, and I'll be grooming courts and picking
this
weeds
will be
and
a nice,
raking leaves.
You'll be doing that in the morning.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
I do that 24/7.
We're not getting out of the club till 8 o'clock or 8:30 at night. No show tomorrow.
We don't get out of there till 10 o'clock and 10 o'clock on Wednesdays
guys.
and Fridays.
No show tomorrow.
Yeah, we can't. I'm just saying,
That's really hard. Carla thought Ben Shelton should stay in college. She's already done better than. I said, if you're kicking ass, no.
Let's go, Mike Walker.
Justin, I've said this before. So Michael Walker has earwax.
True soldier.
No, he's got earwax.
Let's go, Mike
Personally,
Walker.
I would have said, if you're kicking people's ass in college easily, what do I always say? Then go pro.
Then run with it, yeah.
Then go pro. But if you are struggling in college tennis, why would you go pro?
Now, okay, so Shelton's father, by the way, an elite college coach, Florida, I think, right? Mm-hmm. So before Shelton went pro, he was still playing on the team, and his father had him as the number 3 player, not even the number 1 player. So I think that was a way to motivate him a little bit more. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. Carla got these shoes. We customized them
last time.
but I didn't show the new laces in the. Okay, so I showed these the other day, but we just put the new laces in them. Switch with the lace locks. Okay. Mm-hmm. One thing I liked about the shoe that I forgot is the teamwork. Boom. Okay, so these came out pretty good. These are suede, not canvas. And lastly, my new addition, the Jordan 13s University Blue with the holographic back. Really nice shoes. So anyway, I'm excited about these. Okay, we'll put them on and then go from there. All right, that's it. So show Tuesday is the next show. Is that correct? Tuesday?
Yeah.
And look, please be on the lookout. A lot of times we don't know what time on whatever
day.
It
might rain too, so you never know too.
So what we generally do is during the week when majors are going, we'll come home and then we'll schedule it as soon as we walk in the door so people have a little bit of time to see it's upcoming. And then we'll start it like an hour later. So sometime Tuesday, that's the 24th, right? Sometime Tuesday, we'll get home, and then before we get in the shower and change, I'll run in here and I'll set it up, and then probably within an hour and a half, we'll do it. So sorry again, sometimes it's so spur of the moment, but every time we try to do it at a certain point, it never happens. So sorry about that in advance. Any shout outs, anything we're missing out on? Eleanor, what's up? Thank you for loving the shoes. William Spencer, much love. Chris Aviation, what's up? Good to see you. Dushan Drama Kaneen, back in effect. MotoGP in Bangladesh. Rajesh Kumar, where are you at? Houston. William Spencer, UK. Where's Casper, a.k.a. Deadsville, Polish GOAT? Who else in the past 24 hours? Michael Walker's always hit me at the right time. I saw the pink. Oh, damn, girl. He hit me right. I was thinking, damn, she's big. Beep, beep, beep. Mike Walker said the same thing.
I'm still laughing at some of the comments I'm getting.
Yeah.
Who are you to say blah, blah, blah? Come on, people. That's the problem. That's the problem. If go back to the 50s and 60s, how people look and look at them now. That's the problem. We make these excuses. It's okay. It's okay to be unhealthy.
The inception of fast food.
It's okay.
Right.
Go ahead.
Boom.
Clog up your arteries. Go ahead. Be unhealthy.
All right. Much love, guys. We'll see you on Tuesday. Lunes. What's Tuesday? Martes. Adios, muchachos.
Adios.